For residential and commercial construction services you can trust, call Delta Contracting and Design Incorporated in Strattonville today at 814-764-5506. Or if it's concrete and excavating work you need done, then call Ace Concrete and Excavating at 814-764-5551. More on both Delta Contracting and Design and Ace Concrete and Excavating can be found at delcondesign.com. That's DELCON design.com. As you approach retirement, it is important to accumulate assets and build a financial plan that can sustain your lifestyle during your golden years. While calculating the cost of your changing income needs can be daunting, our Retirement Income Evaluator can help you develop a roadmap for the future. To learn more, stop by our office located at 162 South 2nd Avenue in Clarion. Give us a call at 814-223-9990 or visit JanneyClarion.com. Janney Montgomery Scott, LLC, member NYSE, FINRA, and SIPC. Looking for affordable auto, home, and life insurance? Look no further than Allstate Insurance, the David Jones Agency in Clarion and Meadville. At the David Jones Agency, you get personalized attention from someone who lives where you do. The David Jones Agency meets you where you are. They are available during regular business hours Monday through Friday at their office, via appointment at the office after hours, or remotely. The David Jones Agency also offers investment opportunities, including annuities and IRAs. The David Jones Agency can be reached in Clarion at 814-223-4000 and in Meadville at 814-337-5107. Buying, selling, or building a home? Then call Burford and Henry Real Estate today at 814-227-7355. For more than 15 years, Burford and Henry Real Estate Realtors have been ready to help you in your next property search. They are also the #1 agency selling more homes in the region than anyone else. And with their Showcase Homes divisions, their expert consultants can help you with building the home of your dreams. Check out Burford and Henry online at burfordandhenry.com. Burford and Henry Real Estate Services, something different. Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Janney Montgomery Scott in Clarion Coaches QR Code Coaches Chalkboard Show. Chris Rossetti alongside Jess Quinn here from Tip and Gym at Penn West Clarion University, where Super Saturdays just come to an end as we've crowned a regional champion, 4 district champions, and a third place in District 9 Class 2A boys. It started at 10 a.m., Jess. It's almost 10 p.m.
What a day, though. I tell you what, I didn't get here till, into the second game, and what a long day. But I tell you what an incredible day of basketball it was, Chris.
No question. It started out with Carson City claiming the final playoff berth out of District 9 in Class AA with a win over that was so long ago. I got to remember who they beat. They beat Ridgeway. Beat Ridgeway, and that was a win there. Hold on, I'm just trying to get down to where that score was. That was so long ago, and wanted to make sure I had the correct score there. That was Carson City winning that game by a count of 36-33 to claim a playoff berth. They'll have to they were playing the winner of the Aliquippa Northgate game, which is now over, and I haven't had a chance to look to see who's won that game. Jess, that was before you were here, but that was a typical Ridgeway style game. They wanted to slow it down. They did, and Carson City found a way to fight through. And I think part of the way you fight through that is that you do that by getting up and taking a lead. And even if you've got to slow it down, then you've already got the lead, and that's a real important aspect of winning that game.
It really is. And slowing it down, really, to be honest, Carson City can do that. Yes, they can get out and run because they got the guys like Micah Rupp and Peters underneath to rebound and get it out and go with Tate Bailey and Grossman and all those guys that they have there. However, they can play an inside game too. They can slow it down. They can work the ball inside, out. They Micah Rupp can make very, very good moves inside the paint. Peters also. But then when they get doubled, they find the open man and kick it outside, and those guys can knock down the threes. So they played it, even though they played the Ridgeway style, they still won the game, and that's what's important, and they're moving on.
Yeah, and they will play Aliquippa. Aliquippa beat Northgate. Just looked that up when you were talking about that game, and then that followed up with their girls playing Chestnut Ridge in a sub-regional 3A championship game where once again both teams were already into the state playoffs. Started out really good for Carnes. They were up 8-2, and then it didn't go so well. They scored 9 points the rest of the game. They scored up 8-2 in the first quarter, ended up losing 36-17. They had more turnovers than they had points, and that was the biggest issue.
And that's what I was going to say. Anytime that you're turned over that many times, it's going to be an uphill battle. And, you come out and you work and you work and you work. But if you're pressured and you turn the ball over, it's going to be a tough road to hoe. And it was for Karn City girls today.
Yeah, and then that got us into the main events, the championship games. It started out with AA, Red Bank Valley, all over Montauk, 61-35. It was the as I wrote on the site, it was the H&H show. Harmon and Huffman. Harmon and Huffman. Olivia Huffman had a double-double, 24 points. I think it was 11 rebounds. Miley Harmon had 19 points, and that was just way too much for the Montauk team to handle.
It really was, and you look at those two, and they are fantastic players. But then you look at Kaylin Rearick, and you look at Bowser, and then you look at Bonanno, and every single, and the Bond girls that comes in, every single girl that steps on the floor, you don't miss a beat with that Red Bank team, and it's going to be a very exciting playoff run. Now that they're into the state playoff rounds.
Then we moved into the single A boys championship game, Union against Elk County Catholic. Union kind of wearing the Cinderella slippers. Looked like the slipper was going to fit, Jess. They were up 9 with 12 minutes to go. And then Elk goes on a game-ending 26-2 run.
26-2 run, and it wasn't anything that it was steal layup, and everybody's cheering and momentum. They clawed their way back into it by playing tough defense, coming down, getting good shots, limiting, really. I wrote it down, Chris. The difference in that game was in the first half. You couldn't keep Dawson Camper and Xander Lachlan off the boards. They were getting all the rebounds offensively and defensively. In the second half, it was reversed. In the second half, you couldn't keep Elk County off the boards offensively and defensively. And in the end, that's the difference in the game. It really was it came down to defense. Lachlan went cold, and the rest of I think he only scored in the first quarter.
Didn't score again after the first quarter.
And and they Elk did their traditional, I'm going to lock you down, I'm going to play tough defense, I'm going to make you do things you don't want to do. And for a while, Union was able to keep the lead. I thought maybe that was going to be their year, but it just didn't turn out that way.
Then we moved into the single A girls championship game. It was Otto Eldred against Elk County Catholic, and it looked like Elk took an 11-point halftime lead, and then Otto comes back and wins its first ever District 9 championship. What a story.
What a story that is. And we have done a few of their games this year, and they never panicked. We were talking to Coach Gray after the game, and they just don't panic. They look like they were comfortable being down 11 at halftime. And I know nobody is, but they looked comfortable. They came out and they just did what they did. Sheeler and
Close and Mary, and
yes, just hitting threes left and right, taking it to the rim, going to the old school three, getting fouled. What a very, very fun girls team to watch. They play great team basketball, just kind of like what CL did tonight. But that Otto Eldred Lady Terrors team is something to watch. They don't panic. They do everything that they need to do, and eventually they just took over that game and won it.
Then nightcap, it was Clarion Limestone all over Otto Eldred, 68-54 for the AA title in boys, and it was a show that the Lions put on.
It really was. If you would have told me that going in, Chris, I would not have believed you. I really wouldn't. I look at it as Otto wants to run, but I was talking with a few people at halftime and then after the game here, but you get on the bigger floor. And one of the things that I wrote down was depth. 9 deep, CL can go and really not miss a step. Otto could go really 6 deep. And when you go 6 deep on a big floor and your game is to run, you will get tired. And looking at what CL did tonight with the multitude of players that stepped on the court for them, they all did everything that they needed to do. They all rebounded. Ty Rankin rebounded. Jordan Hesden, Jace Ferguson coming up with steals. And Jack Allen, what a job he has done since that Union game. What a job he has done. And I tell you what, another young man that just you have to tip your cap to is Jack Craig. He has really stepped up for that Clarion Limestone team.
Yeah, and then the birthday boy, Riley Klingensmith, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 12. That's 15, 16, 17, 18 points on his birthday.
18 points on his birthday. I tell you what, it really is a special night for him, being a senior coming out. And one of the keys to the game that I was really looking at is for CL to win. And I think in the broadcast, Chris, you and I talked about this, that Riley Klingensmith was going to have a big game for CL. In the last couple of games, his shot hasn't been falling, but when you're a shooter, you shoot the ball. It'll find the bottom of the net eventually, and it did tonight for him. And he did it in many different ways. He hit threes, he hit short shots, he did it from the line, he drove the lane and got fouled. He did everything, like we said earlier. The most special thing about this CL team is you don't have one superstar, Chris. You got 9 guys who all do everything they can do to contribute to their team winning, and that's exactly what happened tonight.
Jess, we're going to step aside here on the Janney Montgomery, Scott, and Clarion Coaches QR Code Coaches Chalkboard Show. When we get back, we'll give. I want you to give me the one thing you saw today that impressed you the most, and the one player who impressed you the most. We'll be back after these messages.
For residential and commercial construction services you can trust, call Delta Contracting and Design Incorporated in Strattonville today at 814-764-5506. Or if it's concrete and excavating work you need done, then call Ace Concrete and Excavating at 814-764-5551. More on both Delta Contracting and Design and Ace Concrete and Excavating can be found at delcondesign.com. That's DELCON design.com.
As you approach retirement, it is important to accumulate assets and build a financial plan that can sustain your lifestyle during your golden years. While calculating the cost of your changing income needs can be daunting, our Retirement Income Evaluator can help you develop a roadmap for the future. To learn more, stop by our office located at 162 South 2nd Avenue in Clarion. Give us a call at 814-223-9990 or visit JanneyClarion.com. Janney Montgomery Scott, LLC, member NYSE, FINRA, and SIPC. Looking for affordable auto, home, and life insurance? Look no further than Allstate Insurance, the David Jones Agency in Clarion and Meadville. At the David Jones Agency, you get personalized attention from someone who lives where you do. The David Jones Agency meets you where you are. They are available during regular business hours, Monday through Friday at their office, via appointment at the office after hours, or remotely. The David Jones Agency also offers investment opportunities, including annuities and IRAs. The David Jones Agency can be reached in Clarion at 814-223-4000 and in Meadville at 814-337-5107. Buying, selling, or building a home? Then call Burford & Henry Real Estate today at 814-227-7355. For more than 15 years, Burford & Henry Real Estate Realtors have been ready to help you in your next property search. They are also the #1 agency selling more homes in the region than anyone else. And with their Showcase Homes divisions, their expert consultants can help you with building the home of your dreams. Check out Burford & Henry online at burfordandhenry.com. Burford & Henry Real Estate Services, something different.
Back here at Tip and Jim on the Janney Montgomery, Scott, and Clarion Coaches QR Show Chalkboard. And Jess, before we went to break there, I said I was going to make you give me one thing that impressed you the most today and one player who impressed you the most today.
Well, I can't give you one player because it's what you said just a minute ago, H&H, Harmon and Huffman. But I'll give you the play, and it involves Miley Harmon. She's on the sideline. The ball's going out of bounds. She dives for it, throws it back in. Quinn White tips it to herself, gathers the ball. In the time that it took Quinn White to tip it to herself and gather it, Harmon is already on the court and sprinting down the other way. Quinn throws it for a layup. That's special. That because a lot of players will tip it back in and gather it and then come in and you get possession, you come down and score. Miley's thinking, I'm scoring right now. And I will tell you what, I'm looking at Olivia Huffman and Harmon together, and it's very, very special to watch, Chris. Huffman can do all the things you needed to do inside, but she can also shoot the ball from the outside. She's a great player. She can handle the ball. And that give and go we saw with Harmon and Huffman, the one play was amazing. And, Harmon is just so quick, and they've played so long together. They know where each other is going to be on the court, and it's very, very fun to watch. So my one player isn't one, it's two, it's those two. And the one player, or the one play in particular, it's why they are a special team when you dive out of bounds like that. But don't just be satisfied with saving the ball to your teammate. You take off the other end and turn it into immediately. You turn it into 2 points for your team, and that's special. Very, very special.
My special player was Jordan Wasco. Here's a kid who tore an ACL against Brookville. You thought he was done for the season. He's out there wearing, and it's not even like a heavy knee brace.
It's not like an ACL brace.
Yeah,
right?
it's just a regular knee brace. He hits 2 massive 3-pointers in the second half, scores 8 points to help kind of fuel that Elk run there late. So he kind of gets my nod as the player that I saw. And then the thing that the moment, when the clock ran to 0 for Otto Eldred. What a special moment for that town, for that community, for that program to win a district championship. They'd never done that as the girls program. The boys team, when it was still Otto Township, before they'd even consolidated, got to go back to 1945 in basketball. I'm sitting here trying to rack my brain in other team sports, and I can't think, they had a pretty good volleyball team one year, I remember. But the championships, they don't flow there like they flow at, say, an Elk County or,
Right.
Even a CL in different sports or something like that. And so for that community to get that championship, and I know they wanted 2 and they only got 1, but just to get 1 is such a special thing for that small town, that small community, and just a way that they were all rallying around those girls and wanted them to do so well, and then to see them do well was a really big deal.
Well, I'll tell you what, I can remember it was 1988, I believe, when CL Girls had won the district title with I'm trying to think of Sue Delaney was a point guard, very, very special player. And I remember what it meant to our community at CL, because it had been so long. I don't even know if they had won one before, to be honest, up until that point. And how special that was for our community there. Same thing for Otto Elder. And you're right, that is a very, very special moment for the team, for the school, and for the community.
Well, Jess, so this is going to pretty much do it for our Janney Montgomery, Scott, and Clarion QR Coaches Show Chalkboard tonight. Probably won't be our last one, though. We got state playoffs still ahead of us.
We do.
Probably not going to do any broadcasts in state playoffs.
We'll get into that another time.
Yeah, we'll get into that another time, but the prices just go through the roof. But we will continue to do the QR Coaches Show Chalkboard Show, sponsored by Janney Montgomery, Scott, and Clarion. I'm so tired I can't even get it out correctly tonight.
It's been a long day.
I was at the gym at like 9:45, and again now it's 10:10. So I've been here over 12 hours. Not the first time I've lived in Tippin, Jim. First time maybe in the new Tippin, but not the first time I've lived a long night in Tippin. But I still got some writing to do. Hope everybody enjoys our coverage on the YDL Sports Network, D9and10sports.com. We've got stories of everything up already except for the CL win. We'll get that one up here probably in the next hour or so, and then we'll add some stuff to some of the other stuff as well. But thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Jess, thanks for another great night of work. And folks, until next time, this is Chris Rossetti saying good night from myself and Jess Quinn.